The hidden war of submarine cables. You've heard it 1,000 times. Your photos are in the cloud. Your messages live in the cloud. Your money moves through the cloud. But here's the truth. There is no cloud. There is a cable, a physical cable, made by humans, laying on the ocean floor. And if you could see it, really see it, our modern world would look less like Wi-Fi and more like a living body. Because the internet isn't floating above you, it's underwater. And almost everything you do online, your banking, your FaceTime calls, your cloud backups, your instant downloads, travels through these lines, like blood through arteries. Here's the nightmare part. Those arteries are fragile, and right now, nations, militaries, criminals, and tech giants are all fighting over them. Not with tanks, not with missiles, but with anchors, divers, and quiet sabotage. This is the hidden war of submarine cables. Let's zoom in. A submarine internet cable is basically glass. Hair-thin strands of fiber optic glass, carrying light pulses, your data, at insane speeds. But that glass is wrapped like it's going to war. Steel, copper, waterproof layers, armor, because it has to survive a planet that hates delicate things. Now zoom out. There are hundreds of these systems, spanning over 1 million kilometers globally, stitched across the seafloor, like a nervous system. And they don't carry some of the internet. They carry basically all of it. International data, continent to continent, moves through submarine cables at rates often cited as about 99% of global traffic. Satellites look cool in movies, but for the actual modern internet, satellites are the side quest. Subsea cables are the main story. And that's why they're so valuable. Because if you control the cables, you don't just control connections. You control economies, markets, military coordination, and the flow of information itself. For years, the story of submarine cables was boring. Companies cooperated, engineers built, telecoms shared capacity. Then, geopolitics got involved. And suddenly, the question changed from how do we connect the world to who do we trust with the world's data? Enter the US versus China, a rivalry that's now rewriting the map of the internet. Some people call it a digital iron curtain. Not a wall you can see, but a network being split, route by route, landing station by landing station. And the most dramatic example? A cable called the Pacific Light Cable Network. Originally, it was designed to run from the United States to Asia, including a direct link between Los Angeles and Hong Kong. A straight, fast data highway. But in 2020, US officials said no, too risky. Too much fear that a Hong Kong connection could expose US data to Chinese influence or espionage. So through a national security review, the Hong Kong link was blocked, and Google and Facebook, now Meta, ultimately withdrew that Hong Kong portion. And the cable story gets even weirder. Parts of the system were allowed to operate, as long as traffic routed to Taiwan and the Philippines, not Hong Kong. Same ocean, same cable, different political reality. Now zoom to 2025. The United States has gone further, moving toward rules that would ban certain Chinese technology and equipment from undersea cables connecting to the US. So yes, this is infrastructure, but it's also strategy, because cables don't just connect countries, they connect leverage. Now for the part that sounds like science fiction. Because the internet has a spy story. During the Cold War, the US learned the Soviets had an undersea communications cable carrying sensitive naval messages. So the US did something insane. They sent a modified submarine into Soviet-controlled waters and deployed divers to tap the cable. This was Operation Ivy Bells, a real mission where a listening device was wrapped around the cable without cutting it, so communications could be recorded in secret. And it worked. For years. Until it was exposed. Not by a dramatic underwater chase, but by betrayal. A US insider revealed it. That's the thing about cables. They sit in silence, but they're always being watched. And espionage isn't the only threat. Sometimes the enemy is nature. Anchors dragging across the seafloor, fishing gear snagging lines, underwater earthquakes shifting terrain. There are roughly 150 to 200 cable faults per year, and most are caused by human activity, fishing, and anchoring. The one everyone loves to joke about: sharks. Yes, there have been cases where sharks bit at cables, with theories pointing to electromagnetic fields and how sharks sense electricity. Funny, until you realize how thin the margin is between internet as usual and why is half my country offline? And lately, some incidents don't look purely accidental. Researchers and governments have raised alarms about suspicious damage clusters in places like the Baltic region and around Taiwan, where attribution is murky and motives are complicated. Not every break is sabotage, but the fear is simple. If you wanted to hurt a rival nation without firing a shot, you wouldn't bomb a server. You'd cut the artery. Here's the twist most people miss. Governments aren't the only superpowers down there anymore. Big tech is. For decades, telecom companies built the cables. Now the hyperscalers, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, own or lease around half of global undersea bandwidth. Why? Because they don't want to rent the bloodstream. They want to own it. And in the last couple years, it's escalated. Meta has pursued massive new cable ambitions, projects spanning tens of thousands of kilometers, designed to give it tighter control over how its data moves around the planet. So what happens when private companies build private global highways under the ocean? You get speed, redundancy, efficiency, but you also get concentration, more power in fewer hands, and a future where the public internet increasingly rides on infrastructure owned by a small number of corporations, not governments, not citizens, corporations. So the next time someone says, "It's in the cloud," picture this: a steel-armored thread of glass on the ocean floor, carrying your life at the speed of light. Submarine cables are the backbone of civilization, and the quiet truth of the 21st century is this: who controls the cables, controls the world. The question isn't whether a hidden war exists. The question is, when the next crisis hits, political, military, economic, who gets to pull the plug? If you want a part 2, we can go deeper into the choke points, the Red Sea routes, the Mediterranean bottlenecks, and why a single landing station can become a national security nightmare.